who's introing?
I will free. Oh, we're
You're going to
just
intro.
live
Yeah, you
now.
intro.
Yeah, I am doing it at the moment. Welcome back to the biggest clusterfuck you've known on this channel since I don't know, since we started
Zilla Cup.
casting. Yeah,
Zilla Cup was pretty rough.
look how different I look at the moment. I'm talking with my mouth closed. I'm just here to make this cast as sexy as possible. You have two new casters. You've got Bempo, the old guard, and you have Mr. Naj.
I am Senor Nigel in charge, and I am here to do my business.
Yeah, we have had Naj around before a couple of times, I believe, Jej Cup, and also we did a couple of other games. That time we got rid of by Crit's Cast. Naj was casting some open playoffs.
Wow. Yeah. I've been around in the casting before when it comes down to TF2 and also when it comes down to games like Siege, Overwatch, etc. I've gotten quite a considerable amount more experience than what I had when I did try and cast TF2 before. And the main thing I've really learned is to look at the camera. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, well, we do have 12 in the server. I know it's a super anticipated series coming up. We've got Beansports. I know a lot of people are very disappointed. I myself was absolutely heartbroken as a Bean enjoyer that the Beansports got a default last week. I would have loved to see them play last week, but in the end, going to be postponed a week. But now here we are, as they've made it to the semi-finals.
Yeah, here we are indeed.
Facing Ice Mob Black. The few names you might recognise here, if anyone's been here all the way since the Frost Hazard Cup. Aralele, CR, and Zori all played for the team that won that, which was Lit-Tatos, I believe.
I am not massively certain, but I was going to bring up the fact that they did come in off a default win. So if you're looking at if you're looking at both of these teams as a little bit of an unknown, one thing we can be very certain of is, well, Ice Mob Black actually came into this off of a 3-map victory, winning 2 of the 3 maps against Horde W Gaming. Alongside that, we also can look at Beansports and see that even though they are coming into this off of a default win in the first round of playoffs, they have got very substantially better results throughout the rest of the season. So more than likely, they are going to be carrying that momentum forward and really seeing if they can really push into these low playoffs and maybe even come out of this with a victory going towards grand finals.
Yeah, they've been a consistent force. I believe they might have only dropped one or maybe even 2 maps through the whole season. They've been really, really strong. And yeah, I've got to say, Ice Mob Black, they sort of snuck in towards the back end. It was a big win actually last week. Hold W were one of the top teams, at least for the first half of the season. But yeah, I think they've had a couple of roster shake-ups there over on Ice Mob Black. It's definitely a force to be reckoned with. It's one that's maybe coming good at the right part of the season, just as playoffs are rolling around, getting themselves into playoffs and potentially sneak up an upset.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. We are a little unsure as to what's going on right now, but
We have a pause on the server at the moment, which is great. But
So that's happened. Did that happen while we were in? Oh, I'm black screen. You're in start now. I'm black screen
Alright.
still.
So to this first mid, I'm going to be watching Dolo. We're going to be seeing if he can really bring something to the table here. But at the moment, seeing both of these teams, it's a little bit of an unknown for me, as I have been a little bit away from the scene. But he's going to be throwing his first stickies over, managing to catch out a scout quite early, but neither demo really doing too much damage in the meantime. The flanks going on the side, but no one really pressuring on that right garage for the side of blue here. They're just playing it very passively, trying to see if they can get a bit of spam on the go, see if they can find any sort of potential pick. But Sick Boy nearly going down. Rari catching a lot of spam, ends up going down in general, and now losing 2 players on the side of Ice Mob isn't going to be ideal for them, as they are going to be pressured out of this.
Med, all the way in, gets him down to 41 HP, gets another rocket, takes him down so late into the fight. Zori, the medic of the blue side, taken down in the Ice Mob. Not only did they lose the first mid fight, they lose their medic after the fight has concluded. It's a long respawn.
The drop! Aralele comes in, manages to get the drop onto Jack, and now we're in an equal Uber situation, potentially even an advantage for Zuri.
Yeah, we're just saying how bad of a situation it was looking, but not if they're able to come in and get that drop at the perfect timing. They still don't have the point. That's firmly in control of Beansports, but they're going to be coming up with a slight advantage here And it was a crucial drop, otherwise it would have been the forward hold, would have been the big advantage. But now IceMob Black looking to push themselves back in here. They went down a man temporarily, as they, I believe that's where the pause occurred, and a minute off the clock already though for Beansports. I guess it's not the end, it's not a problem really for them at all. They're taking this clock down as best as they can, and actually Alice is going straight in, aggro potatoes in as well. Demo Man goes down, and IceMob's push seems to be getting stifled for the moment. Yeah, Potato's still going in on Zuri as well. Even higher, counter stack comes in and Jack goes down. Aralele coming in again with a crucial kill at a crucial time onto Jack just as Zuri died.
Absolutely on fire right now, managing to get these crucial picks in these dire moments. But the fact that Zuri is up and alive is going to mean that they do get to build up their Uber advantage off of that pick. So now they're going to be pressuring the point, just getting some cap time up here and there, and maybe seeing if they can pressure out these red players, maybe get another pick to delay them a little more. But it looks like Nucleon's going to be the first one to fall. That scout going down on a Koth map isn't going to be too ideal. You're going to probably want to try and find one in return or leave, but instead they're going to be losing another. CR goes down, and now it's going to be a matter of leaving, getting out. Potato tries to go for the bomb. Happy tries to follow up. They get a lot of picks. They're not able to find the med just yet. Is he going to be saved by Nucleon? Nucleon finds one. They find another on the soldier that's going to be hiding in that corner. And Zuri is so clinical right now, making sure he's able to move out of the way of those rockets and spam, and actually keeping himself alive amongst his team.
That's a miracle that Zuri gets out there. Down to, I think it was 3 HP at one moment. Getting chipped down, but the splash didn't quite land, and off the back of that now Zuri's going to have Ubercharge coming up soon, but wasn't beaming for a while, and he's taken down before Ubercharge can come up. Happy jumping in, getting the damage. Jack now able to use the first Ubercharge of this map, just saving Dolo there as pressure comes back across the point. Beansports now in serious control here. So much space with point control, and they've are in potentially the final 30 seconds of this game. They're going to establish a forward hold, and it's a real tough one here for the IceMob to break.
Very back and forth, but in the end, looking very dominant to the side of, to the side of Beansports. Actually managing to get this time all the way down, and now a bit of a desperation push coming out of the side of IceMob, as they are going to be coming through that right side, trying to get themselves in, but they lose 2 players. Nucleon and Rari go down very early. They find the pick onto Dolo, but they lose 2 more, and now it's just going to be Aralele and the medic left alive. Aralele on the respawn isn't going to be able to make it to the point in time, and that's going to be a round for the side of Beansports.
Yeah, it was so good there. They come in, Beansports, get that forward clamp set up, and when you're trying to dry push out of a forward hold with 30 seconds left, you have to get on the point, you have to run through and take risks, and in the end it was very well dealt with there by Beansports, closing down those avenues in towards the point and winning that first round. I don't even believe IceMob were on the point for over a minute there. It was a very controlled affair coming in from Beansports as they take that 1-0 lead, and we're looking to extend that here as we get underway with this second mid-fight. A bit more of an aggression here coming in from the flank of IceMob, coming in very aggro here into this house. There's 2 scouts have come over. Alice and Steven have had to go across, and that means that Jack gone down. The scout presence wasn't there, and maybe they switch up.
Pablo manages to find one very early, but Steven's going to be running in behind now alongside Potato. They're managing to find picks left, right and centre. Both teams losing players now as 4 men still left alive on the side of IceMob. They are going to be trying to find the final few picks, and also the medic along with it, but the medic's gotten all the way out, managed to get back to... Oh no, the medic was on the respawn actually. But actually just managing to gain that point pressure very early is going to give them much more of an advantage, and they've gotten much further on the timer than they have in the previous round. Yeah,
it was actually quite important there. Zuri gets taken down, I believe, by Happy late in that fight. It's going to mean that Jack spawns earlier here. Going to have advantage walking across, and with Pablo going down, that's not at all what the IceMob will have wanted. Using a scout to pressure the point, not ideal whatsoever. And with CR going down also, lots of point pressure is able to come in. Potato, the one to seal the cap. Let's see if any counter pressure comes in. They're actually given a lot of space up here of Beansports. They backed up quite a fair bit, and the point has flipped back, but with so much damage here on IceMob, look at those healths. So weak across the board. They're going to have to retreat all the way back out. And
they have to get themselves all the way out. Yeah, Jack does have his Ubercharge, but they're still down a demo on the side of IceMob, so I don't get why they're being so aggressive on this right side. Maybe trying to apply some pressure so they don't have to deal with this forward hold later on, but instead they're just going to be throwing a soldier in. They end up feeding, but they manage to get the force out as the medic of Zuri is just going to be trying to run away from this scout. The scout is going to be dealing a lot of damage and manages to get the drop in the end. That's going to be perfect. Steven with a beautiful play as he does lose his life in the end. actually managing to take out Jack there, or not Jack, take out Zuri there is going to be ideal for them, as now Jack is going to be once again sitting pretty with this Uber advantage.
Yeah, very, very nice work coming in. You know, Zuri really doesn't want to have to force right in front of his own spawn, but in the end, Uber is stripped away and it's a drop coming in, and that means that Jack now back with around a 40% advantage with a forward hold in as well. Beansports really looking in control so far on Bagel.
Ice Mob though, this right side is completely uncontested. The soldiers have backed themselves off and now they've managed to get themselves all the way in. They're going for the high bombs, going behind and making sure they're able to try and cut off these rotations, but instead Aralele loses his life and now they're just losing players. They're having to get all the way back into this little corner now as Ciara's made his way through into that right flank. Is he going to be able to find anything off it?
Alice is in all the way into the combo here, jumping in. 2 scouts on the demo man. Rari taken down. Are they going to go more for Zuri? I think Zuri might just be escaping. The defense forces are in time, but look at all this pressure coming out here. Beansports fighting deep into the enemy lobby, and Ice Mob all the way back. They're getting Uber charge up now, but this has bought so much time. This cap has lasted over a minute. And we're going to see if Ice Mob, now that Uber charges have stabilised, are they going to be able to get in? It looks pretty good so far. They're walking in fairly aggro, taking some space. Alice and Happy both gone down here for the red side, and big damage onto Happy, onto the combo as well. Jack taken low, has to force, and Zuri is going to have a much better Uber at the end of the day, and it's a really nice take coming in from Ice Mob so far.
Much better Uber, but they still haven't got the cap. And they aren't even going to be able to find the medic pick, as the medic gets all the way out, gets hit by CR. CR does manage to find the pick in the end, but now they're getting the cap point. They finally get the cap off, but what's it worth at this point? They've still got 2 minutes to go, and more than likely we're going to be seeing a bit of a back and forth tug of war coming out of the opposite side. Aless tries to go in for the medic pick, manages to get a couple picks, but not quite the one he's looking for. As oh no, he does find the one he's looking for. It's the other way around. I'm looking at the wrong team. Either way, he manages to find the pick he's looking for, which is going to give his team a little bit of an Uber advantage, as they are going to be coming into this later team fight, and it's going to be very good for them if they do want to try and maintain the cap in general.
Yeah, I've got to say, it was one of those where Ice Mob there, they had the point, they had some pressure, but with so many players alive and it was no Ubers on either side, they really had to keep Zuri alive and just sort of let the game slow down and stagnate a little bit, try and run that clock down. But in the end, Zuri going down is going to make such a big deal here because Jack's not far off Uber himself, and with the point ticking down towards the red, Ice Mob are really going to have to try and do something here, but there's a lot of pressure here towards the point. Ice Mob, knowing the time situation, have to go in quick. Alice gets one into nuclear, and Uber charge going to be up now for Jack. They can use it if they want to. Zuri doesn't have yet, and with 5 seconds left, he's not going to have before he goes. The round goes into overtime.
Desperation. They're going to be trying to get themselves in. The Uber comes out of the red side and they use their own, and now it's going to be a bit of a Uber trade situation. Blue seem to have flashed a little bit more than red, but even so, the red Uber charge flashes off earlier. They are going to manage to contest the point and keep themselves in contention. While they do so, they keep their players alive, getting nice arrows on top of the point, but they're just finding picks left, right and centre, and blue team just aren't able to keep up. Ice Mob not able to maintain anything right now. The soldier goes in. Aralele finds a pick onto Jack, but it's not going to be worth anything in the end, and now we look at another Beansports round.
Yeah, I've got to say, this scout duo over Les and Steven is going absolutely huge. They're just not even just like sort of taking the beam in. They're going in behind. They're really being a nuisance. They're getting in onto Rari and Zuri all the time, and it's going so well for those two slippery little red bean scouts. And yeah, 2-0 up. It's going to have to be a reverse sweep here if the Ice Mob were to take this first round. And Potato's actually gone so aggro here. I know last time there was a bit of a pressure inside that flank house, but this time looks like the Beansport's going to be coming out on top.
Once again, managing to just gain so much ground in this team fight. Steven playing the high ground so well. Aless giving him a hand up there as well. They managed to get a pick onto a scout and do a little bit of damage to a soldier, but Steven loses his life in the meantime. Dolo falls as well on the demo man, and that means that we're a little bit isolated on the side of Beansports. Like Ice Mob managing to get the cap up and just seeing if they can get themselves in a position to forward hold, but the spam coming back and forth, and Aless alongside Happy trying to contest through that middle main doorway are able to get themselves in the end. Happy jumps in, deals a lot of damage to Pablo, and now the pause is just going to be so much better for the side of Beansports. Getting that force is going to be ideal because now you've got Jack coming back into this fight with a full Uber charge advantage, and you're just going to be absolutely mullering anyone that comes across you.
He might not even have to use either. He's not had to use by the time they've counted. Yeah,
Aralele.
Aralele's in, or gets the force in the end. Aralele's been probably the one standout factor here for Ice Mob, getting in these forces, getting in these med kills at important times, and that is such an important one there. You don't want to be facing the forward hold with full death and having to waste time going for a sack wave or such. But in the end, they are going to be facing a forward hold regardless, as they're actually pushing all the way into ramp here. Beansports is sending their med all the way in behind. They really want this. They smell blood. They're charging in all the way into the spawn here. Rari's in big trouble. Taken down, as again it's the scouts going so aggressive, but they're taken down in the end. Maybe it was a bit of an overstep there coming in from Beansports, and they're going to have to run out. Jack and Dolo separated now on the retreat. Jack going to try and get out towards him. Pablo's running in. Going to be a little bit awkward. Dolo comes in to save, though. The sticky bombs are in, and there's another scout chasing as well, but he's denied Dolo. Great awareness there, coming in, sticking off the medic, and just about keeps Jack alive.
Honestly, that was completely thrown by the soldiers there. The fact that Aralele didn't try and get the bomb onto Dolo earlier just meant that the scouts weren't able to get in. And now, speaking of getting in, we've got the side of Beansports just trying to get that cap off. They're doing a bit of a pressure on the point right now. They're just trading damage back and forth, seeing if they can get any sort of pick off of a player that gets a little bit overextended, but Happy going to be falling very weak alongside Potato. Potato catches an arrow and Happy gets a pack, and now we're going to be seeing them in a position where they're just going to be contesting against these players that are just trying to do much more damage, getting close. Aralele goes in for a bomb, gets juggled, but manages to get a headshot rocket onto Jack, and now the drop coming out with Zuri using his Uber is going to mean they're able to find some picks. They manage to get Dolo, Steven not long to follow, and these two players behind, Happy and Aless, do fall without finding their mark, and that is a very clinical midpoint from the side of Ice Mob.
Yeah, I've got to say, Aralele is coming in. I know you said maybe he missed the opportunity on Jack before. We're just saving it, making sure he wasted more percent coming in for the drop later on. But he's been the shining star here for Ice Mob so far, coming in with so many clutch bombs. And again, another one there. It was looking so rough for Ice Mob. They had, they backed off. And it was looking worse and worse, but in the end they get the caps through. But actually losing a couple of players here, losing a lot of space as well as Potato. He's managed to sneak his way all the way behind. And with even Ubers, it's going to maybe stall out a little bit here. Potato's still in the back line, sweeping up players, catches Aralele. As Happy is now in as well. Happy with the rockets into Zuri. Zuri could be in deep trouble here. As Potato comes in behind, waits for the perfect moment, gets the health pack, comes in and shuts it down. Great coordination coming in from the Red Soldiers. It's another full wipe, full advantage, full presence as they're all the way up in the forward hold once again with a minute on the clock. It's not looking too great for the Ice Monkeys. Oh, the Ice Mob.
The Ice Monkeys.
Ice Monkeys is a team that I was on. What am I doing?
No, it's so unfortunate seeing how dominant they were in the early round. Now seeing them fall off and get very sort of pressured and denied by this Beansports side. CR tries to go in for a little bit of a sack by the looks of things, but ends up getting himself beat as Pablo catches an unbelievable rocket from Happy. That is incredible. And now we see them just getting aggressive on towards the spawn again, maybe trying to see if they can deny for long enough, but perhaps going to wait until 8 seconds left on the clock before they go using the Uber in towards the spawn door. So with these, with the side of Ice Mobs coming in through that right side, are going to be just clearing out these sticky traps and seeing if they can get players in and forward. Aralele falls to about half HP, but he's going to have to go for the bomb anyway, as he does go very deep, tries to get the rocket off, isn't able to find it, and now we're in a position where Ice Mob aren't in a capable or palpable position to be able to get this point. They're just getting absolutely mullered as they come through this door. Now 4 men left standing as they use their Uber charge, and it's going to be a 4v6. They lose one, they lose another, not long to follow. These players on the respawn aren't going to be fast enough as they do make their way towards the point, and they don't manage to get that point cap. And Beansports come out of this map with a win.
I've got to say, that last fight there, Steven and Jack did such a great job, because the plan was clear, right, for Ice Mob. They came in too lower with all 6 players, and they were like, right, we're going to force Jack's Uber before we go in and do anything. And 2 soldiers fly in, and Steven and Jack just managed to make sure that double bomb gets literally nothing. They just then 2 soldiers down for the rest of that play. They split up, great use of cover. I don't think Jack even took any damage from the double bomb. It was great work coming in, and once again, Beansports sweeping it up 3-0. Confident display coming through on Bagel. Just what we want to see on this first Koth map.
Wow. I mean, just seeing on Bagel in general, like, managing to win that convincingly, like, on any sort of Koth map is definitely, like, a sign of, well, I say definitely, at least in my time, and my time wasn't that long ago, it was very much a sign of like a DM difference between the two teams. And I mean, when it comes down to a map like Bagel, I'm a little bit more unqualified to really comment. But I think that in general, coming into the next couple maps, we need to see some real good, like, sort of strategic movement, some methodical plays, things like that from the side of Ice Mob to really make a difference in a game like this. When it comes down to the way the match was played in the previous map, it's kind of one of those where you're a little afraid, Ben. So I don't know what you think, but that's sort
Yeah,
of my like rough analysis.
yeah. 'Cause I think I don't know, from obviously seeing that game, I think the problems for IceMob in this series are pretty big. Obviously, the DM difference is something, but also just the amount of work that the flank on Beansports was able to do. They were getting Potato in behind regularly, Happy as well, joining sometimes. Alice was going in behind as well, and I guess that's the problem. Is IceMob are often going around as a clump of six, and they're leaving doors open. They're leaving opportunities for players to sort of fly in behind, and those players behind weren't getting dealt with. They weren't getting swept up well enough whatsoever, and that was just another problem to add to the tally for players over on the IceMob side. I'm presuming that was the pick of Beansports.
I'm not too sure which order the picking went in, but I'm just having a quick little meander at the logs. Well, everybody on the side of Beansports, and I mean everybody, got over 320 DPM.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we've even got a bean sloth today. I've
Obviously,
got a tin of baked beans.
I can grab a tin of beans. There's like I did my like food shop the other day. Well, actually today, and I've got like some shit in a bag over there.
Yeah, no, I've already had my beans today. I had some cheeky little beans on toast, Marina. So not gonna double up on the beans for a day.
But yeah, like the real star performer on the side of Ice Mob, by the looks of the logs, was Aralele with actually the third highest DPM in the game, only below Happy and Potato, who got 419 and 397 respectively, getting 383 DPM. So as a whole, I feel like yes, it was very dominant from the side of Beansports, but in general, I think that as long as we have like a much more methodical and controlled side from Ice Mob coming into a 5 CP map, potentially we'll be able to see a bit of a different game, and a different scoreline. But on a Koth map, it usually comes down to a bit of a DM difference from my experience. So I think that yes, it speaks to an extent, but doesn't really tell the whole story.
Yeah, for sure. But I've got to say, you mentioned how they're getting good logs. For me, it wasn't even so much the sort of average like damage he was putting out. He was pulling out med kills just out of a hat, basically like a magician, at just the perfect time. Did it genuinely like 4 times, I think.
Most in the game.
Yeah.
Four.
Yeah, well, and all of them, they weren't just like meaningless kills on the med, like in a post fight or something. They were always like at disad situations right before Uber was coming up. Like on it was always like at times when you'd really want to be getting that med. So yeah, Lily is I was doing well in that department. So that's always a good asset you have in your team, right? If you can just flick a switch and the enemy medic dies, that's always a a good little tool to have in the locker.
Well, the only time that the Ice Mob medic actually dropped that game was to Steven when they tried to disrespect at their spawn. They didn't want to use, obviously, they had Uber advantage. They wanted to try and take it forward, so they were trusting that Steven was going to whiff at least enough. But both times that Jack dropped was to RLLA.
Yeah. I guess that situation as well with Zori, right? Like that's one of those scenarios where like a drop is as bad as a force for Zori. To be honest, there's like basically no difference. They're literally in the spawn. Maybe they get like 1 kill off the Uber, but they're not getting any position. They're not getting it towards the point, and they're still at horrendous disad afterwards. So I do respect Zori for trying to hold on, trying to go for it. It's worth a gamble. But like you say, Aralili getting 2 drops in that game, gonna have to, from what we can tell, maybe pull out a few more of those here on Snakewater to keep the series competitive, fight back in.
Yeah, more than likely, just to to keep the stream aware, these teams are probably going to wait a minute to really talk things through, because, I mean, they've got time between maps. So, I mean, if they're smart about it, they'll probably give us a second. They'll try and talk about the things they want to change and the way they want to sort of enforce things going into a 5CP map like this. Because, as I said, like, yes, it doesn't tell the whole story, but a big factor I'm not too sure about, like, right now, but in the past has always been the fact that Goth maps have usually been very DM oriented, alongside like a little bit of sort of strategy, like some basic strategy, that sort of thing, and some basic team play. But 5CP becomes a bit more of a methodical game. They are having a couple issues with one of the players right now, but overall should be fine.
Yeah, I'd agree with that in sort of, at least as you start moving up the. Obviously, this is low, so like it's not the bottom, but at least in like in open, like I do think that the sort of
I think it plays.
You see it needs like a certain amount of coordination, right? And I think it is genuinely probably harder to play Koth in like the lower divs, because you sort of you have to make quick decisions, right? And it's all about speed, and it's all about sort of being on the same page and going for things. But it really is harder for teams at the lower end. But I think these two are probably.
Well, the thing is, I'm one of those players, and I don't know if many people agree with me, but I'm one of those players that think that low playoffs teams are better than like probably the bottom half of mid anyway. So it's like when it comes down to these teams playing as a whole, I feel like we're kind of not giving them enough credit in that sense. Like I think definitely these teams are better than they let on because of their sort of like stature in low, but in general, like being in low playoffs, the low playoffs teams are usually like a few mid players anyway, or a few players that are experienced in mid. So one of those.
One funny one I've got to point out, Dolo, the demo man over on Beansports, I believe actually played Fresh Meat Cup just a few months ago. Jumped straight into a low team and has made it to the low playoff semi-final and is one map away from making the low grand final. So that's a huge sprint of a speed run through the start of Comp TF2. So congrats to Dolo if managed to make it through first season, making potentially a lower final of the cards. Even a lower semi-final is a pretty impressive feat to have in your first season.
I mean, yeah, definitely very impressive. It's one of those where it's not often, even in open, that you see people play like a Fresh Meat Cup, or like people not really do much previous to their actual season and then come into their season and actually even make playoffs. It's something that tends to come with time, and I think overall they're genuinely doing very well as a team, and as a demo individually, I think he played very well. And I think coming into a 5CP map will be the real test for a player like that. Like coming into a 5CP map against a very well-rounded team. And I mean, they've made low playoffs, all of them, so they're all very well-rounded teams. They're very capable teams that are adaptable and genuinely just able to do well and put up a real fight against many of these sort of mid-teams that we have right now. So I think just in general, these low playoffs teams, this will be the real test for a player like Dolo.
Speaking for the test of 5CP, we're going to be making our way over there right now. Map number 2, just about to start. We've got Ice Mob Black on the verge of defeat. What they need to win this map and the following if they're to make it through to the final. Beansports with a confident 3-0 in the first map, looking to steam through again on the Snakewater. See what the two sides have in store for us on this mid. Looks like a really quick double bomb coming in here from the blue side. Ice Mob straight on the med.
Beautiful.
Damage onto Dolo as well. It's exactly what Ice Mob were looking for starting out this second map. The two scouts doing good work, as well as Happy's taken weak. Happy's actually gone in very, very deep. Doesn't manage to get onto Zori. They're still dancing around here, trying to get onto Alex.
Steven, though. Steven manages to find 2. He's found 1 onto the med so far, found the other one onto the scout, and now he's going to be in a situation where he's against a weak scout and a demo man. If he can kill the scout, he definitely has the advantage against the demo man, but catches a pipe in the meantime, and Rari going to be coming out of that on top. They're going to be trying to get this point capped up, and more than likely going to be moving themselves forward on to second, but with the Equilibra percentages, slight advantage to the side of Beansports. They are going to be a little unsure. So, yeah, we may see like some sacking back and forth, maybe
Potatoes
a
in.
push coming from Beansports. Potato.
There's so much space. Look how much space this bomber's made. Everyone just runs away. I guess he catches one onto the demo, but literally they were all on mid. The Potato jumps up and everyone just scurries back into the soul in fear. There's the power of one soldier jump coming in. Great work coming through there. Like we said, Steven clutching up on that mid nose, sang his praises the last map. That's the perfect start. The mid fight's not going great. Comes in, gets 2 kills late, including one onto the medic. That means Zuri still doesn't even have Uber yet, just building up those final few percentage points. And he's backed out, but they're having to play so passive here, Ice Mob.
They're going to be trying to recontest. They do use off the Uber, so that's going to be very bad for them if they don't get this force off. The demo jumps in, manages to get the force off, but now the Uber comes out. The Uber's bad for the side of Ice Mob, and they are going to be trying to walk out, trying to get themselves out alive. Aralele dies in the meantime, but Zuri manages to make it all the way out to last. Still 3 men alive, still possible, still capable of holding on to this last point. The Heavy comes around the corner, tries to deal a bit of damage. The cap time's inescapable, though, as Ice Mob do lose out on this round, and Beansports come out with the first round off of a lost mid-fight.
Yeah, I've got to say that decision there to run the Uber charge across second is questionable, to say the least. That Uber charge gets literally nothing. In fact, it gets less than nothing because it just strands so many of the Ice Mob players so far out of position as soon as the Uber charge fades. And yeah, as you say, great conversion. They're coming in from Beansports, sweeping up the Uber, getting down the demo, getting down those kills, getting that cap time and finishing up the round. So it's 1-0. The first couple of minutes of Potato looking to start this as he started the last one. Oh, huge!
The other soldier's on the balcony. Jack doesn't know. Jack's going to be backing out into lower. Doesn't quite know the position of this soldier. He's not going to be able to do any more damage. But it looks like Aralele going to be trying to run away, get himself out, get himself out of the pack.
Potato's locked the back door here. Zuri can't even get out. He's going to try and escape through lower. He's been seen. Potato's in. Potato's going to get the kill so late. Look at that late death coming in from Zuri. Jack already has 85% Uber. The barn door is locked and bolted for the escape, and Potato sweeps up.
Aralele's still behind.
He's going to need to go huge. He's going to need to go absolutely huge here, but it might even be too slow, as the Beansports push is already coming in. CR up on the sniper, going to try and get an early force, but they're already in. Happy taken down early is not ideal. Both soldiers are actually going down.
Ends up using off his Uber after catching that pipe, and it looks like Aralele is going to be fighting LS on the back line. So LS just going to be trying to keep him distracted for as long as possible, but the respawns coming out of Ice Mob are going to be able to defend this last point. Aralele coming in from behind, finds the pick onto Jack, alongside Dolo, who CR finds. LS going to be just running straight in to try and find the med pick, gets caught out by a stick, he ends up dying. But now, this soldier of Happy going to be postured up inside of the window area, and Potato going to be underneath. Potato going for the high bomb, more than likely Happy going for the window bomb, and they do manage to isolate the medic in lower, and Happy just has to run away. He's stuck in this lower area on very low HP. CR goes in for the chase, manages to find that pick, and now they're down 2 soldiers for this mid-hold. They can't go in for a powerful sack any longer. They've already wasted that. It's a good effort,
but Zuri there, great evasion coming in, just gets out of the way of the double bomb. Big air shot coming in onto Aralele. There was a Dolo pipe, just sends him absolutely skyward. Jack eating a little bit of flack there, but got to be so careful here as it's advantage Zuri. An advantage Ice Mob without a soldier up. They're still going to maybe look at posturing into this. They're getting set up on the grass. And 2 low soldiers, and Dolo's caught way out of position here. Pablo takes him down, and this is a good push starting here for Ice Mob. They still have 30% of advantage to use, so if they want to take this into last, they're going to have to go so fast. And I think that might be what they're looking to do here. Jack, 15% away from getting the Uber, but Pablo's already in. Jack might just be getting in time here. This could be dangerous here for the attack. It's going to be 6v3. There's 3 players up. Jack uses the Uber charge as cap time comes through. And Happy doing his very best to defend, but it's so dangerous here. There's so much cap time. So few defending players left.
Oh! The bomb coming in from the soldiers. CR manages to find the pick onto Jack, and now they've got no heals. The cap time goes off. Rari manages to debt his sticks and find 3 picks at once. And now we're in a position where it's equalised by Ice Mob. They've managed to get themselves around, and 1-1 on the board is going to be very comfortable for a team that is currently on the back foot.
Yeah, last to last basically. They're going the full coast to coast there. They were really on the back foot, holding out on last, and yeah, the flank coming in works out wonders, and yeah, it didn't look like a great deal of advantage coming in, and yeah, Jack even gets the Uber charge out, but that extra couple of seconds of Uber that Zuri had meant that they could sweep up a couple of kills, get that cap time coming through, so very nice conversion coming from Ice Mob, and they got the same aggression coming in once more. Big bomb.
Jack ends up falling to Aralele. Aralele comes in for a Giga Bomb, manages to get some splash rockets off the wall in the end to clean that up. And, I mean, even though they're going to be going for a full wipe at this point, they still manage to find that mid pick, which means more than likely they are going to be able to get themselves postured up on second, if they get their respawners in time. Potato looks like he is going to be trying to go in for a bit of a play, but, I mean, even so, they should be able to get themselves pushed out at least a little bit. As long as they don't get back capped and they are able to deny the second cap in time, there's no reason why I don't see Ice Mob holding second, moving themselves out of lobby. They find one pick onto the scout. CR and RLLA managed to get a beautiful little sync rocket onto that man, and now Steven's caught in alongside Happy, who's going to be very weak, but ends up getting himself out. CR almost dying of full damage, and now you've got yourself set up on second. You're going to be in a position where you may be able to take this even further forward.
Thinking about going towards Kitchen or towards lower, they're currently looking to walk this in just one player advantage. As they walk their way, and Dolo caught out of position here. Jack goes down as well at the hands of CR. It's looking like a super strong push. Dolo's low HP still. Potato's going in, trying to salvage. Gets one rocket, gets the second. Gets the third in onto Zuri as he's taken down. Nuclear last alive all the way back. And what was such a good start to the push, they got in onto Jack. They got some good damage, but the crunch comes back in. The salvage, the deep bombs come through, and Potato in particular getting so much work done there in the
already
backline.
on last.
Yeah, they're not going to get here in time. Surely great body block coming in from Steven as well. The disrespect with the body block. And yeah, Beansports straight back in. Couple of minutes and they're all the way back into the lead, 2-1.
Yeah, realistically there, the Ice Mob side ended up losing out based on not baiting their medic a little bit in lower. Like, if their lower, if their medic would have held back a little bit inside of lower before or as they were taking the push, then more than likely he could have actually gotten out of that with his life. And I think, unfortunately for them not being able to find that is what cost them the entire thing. But Jack catching 2 stickies very early, also catching 2 spam rockets from Aralele as he's flying through the air, is going to mean that he goes down. Zuri managing to get a beautiful surf from Potato's rocket, but catches a direct in the end. And now we're in a position where it's a bit of a 1v4 as Nuclear left all
11
alone
HP.
in this situation inside of Saw on 11 HP. Not the most ideal situation in the world. But,
yeah, we're really rough one there for Pablo, right? So Pablo, the bombs came in and Pablo wanted to run across the top, and Happy just sends a blind rocket across and just air shots him as he's running across. He's just jumped across the top, gets air shot out the sky, and just gets killed. It's a really rough, complete random spam rocket coming through, and in the end, at least one thing that Ice Mob have got going for them here is that it's even Ubers. Both meds did go down, and it was in that scrap at the end where the Ice Mob came out second best, but both sides build up. There's a heavy but no engineer yet. Oh, but Big Dead!
The Giga Trap, they've managed to use one of the obnoxious sort of like uncommon traps to actually find themselves a pick. Pablo's going in for some early cap time as they are just going to be feeling it out, seeing if they can actually get themselves in without being bombed their med. Zuri is actually baiting in lobby this time as Happy is going to be trying to go for some sort of play by the looks of things. Never mind, he is just going to be hovering around inside of Saw, but it is an uber advantage for the side of Zuri, or was, up until, well, we now have Uber on the side of Jack. Well, on the side of Beans. So now with CR managing to find the pick onto Pablo on that shotgun direct hit loadout, losing his life, unfortunately, is just going to be a little bit of a trade, as they are probably going to want to try and send in a sack on one of these sides soon, because realistically you can't hold Snake second forever. And
Yeah,
I mean,
I've
5-minute round timers now.
Yeah, I've got to say that CR, like, I'm assuming that like direct hit shotgun loadout is when you're holding last, and when they're caught off there, they get the unexpected 2 kills. Rari gets that huge debt, and that just means that sort of caught on the wrong loadout, pushing it, manages to get a kill before going down at least, which is good work by CR in the end. But yeah, maybe direct hit shotgun is not exactly optimal for this this situation that he's found himself in now. And that situation is a little bit of a stalemate as we slow the game down.
A little bit.
We see no one's really gone for anything at all yet. I guess
Aralele gets himself in, deals a lot of damage to Dolo, but also gets himself out as he tries to get into Saw Nuclear and ends up losing his life on the battlements area, and it looks like Happy wants to go in through window, messes up his rocket jumps a little bit, but ends up finding the pick onto Aralele anyway, and now gets himself in behind. He is going to be taking a lot of damage, ends up dying of full damage on the top there, as now we're going to be down a soldier on the side of Beans. Beans lose 2 more, or 1 more, sorry, as they do manage to find 2 in return. 5 men down. on the side of Ice Mob, as now, did they manage to maintain the Ruby? Yes, they did. They are going to be trying to keep a hold of this last. They do have a man disadvantage. They need to get this force off onto Jack. But the Sticky's just on the point. They're not able to find it. They're not able to get the cap. They're not able to get the block in time. The cap isn't going to go through, but it's still going to have a lot of cap time, so more than likely they could go for some sort of desperation push and really throw themselves at the problem now, as they are going to be trying to move their way in through the top right. Potato goes in very, very high. Happy, not long following, manages to get himself on top of point and deals a bit of damage to Nucleon, but gets himself cleaned up by Pablo in the end. These players just falling left, right, and centre. They are going to be just trying to get a bit more cap time. They manage to find a pick onto the heavy. The two scouts getting aggressive. Pablo and not Steven, going to be in a little bit of a 1v1 with a medic on the other side. Steven manages to focus down the medic in time, which is going to be very good for them, but Respawn is coming up on the side of Ice Mob, as they aren't going to be able to find the pick in time. Steven falls. Now we're in a position where Ice Mob have managed to defend their last desperately against such a dire situation.
Yeah, Steven, if he landed maybe just one more scattergun shot, could have ended the round there and then, but as it is, it's not to be, and it's actually going to be Ice Mob pushing their way out on towards the second point, clearing their way in, and it's going to be rough even Ubers again, and see if Beansports decide to go in aggro. They are actually going to come in and probably take down Nucleum pretty quickly as well. And with the two soldiers low on the Ice Mob side, it's actually not looking too good. They're losing a fair bit of space here. You're going to have to back out all the way to use those low HPs and those deaths. Pablo is going to go in for some sort of play here. Gets taken out by Alice. That's actually 3 down. They've just done so well to survive that previous push. This would be a nightmare scenario if Ice Mob aren't able to hold this one. They're getting a couple of spawners in a good time. That Alice is behind everyone though and gets so much damage. There's just a heavy on point. The heavy's taken down and the round is swept up. Big damage coming in from Happy and Alice to sweep that one through in the end. But yeah, the 6v3, they lose too many players in second, and Ice Mob get punished at the second time of asking.
Now running further and further away from the side of Ice Mob. We're at 3-1. If they lose this map, just to re-clarify for the viewers at home, they lose out in this semi-finals. So at the moment, we're looking at Ice Mob actually falling further and further behind. They need to win this map in order to be able to go forward and play the third one and actually be able to have a shot at winning, but at the moment it's not looking promising. Aralele gets himself in, gets a big bomb onto Jack. Dolo
he's surviving.
So does Steven. Jack going to be very weak, left all alone as the soldier on top, but Happy, is going to be able to get himself in and get the pick onto Zuri. Is going to equalize the Ubers, but isn't going to leave Beansports in a very comparable position to how they were in the previous feud.
I've got to say, Jack did such a good job that mid-fight of just staying alive. He was on such low HP, just jumping around. They had to commit 3 whole players to the Ice Mob there to get onto Jack. And I've got to say, at that point, that is normally where the rest of the Beansports team will be able to come in and do some damage, shoot some kills, and maybe get onto Zuri themselves, but it wasn't to be. And in the end, yeah, as you say, Ice Mob coming out better off this mid-fight, but building hasn't been optimal here, and I wonder if maybe Beansports are aware of this. Jack is going to be having significantly before Zuri, as they're actually pressing all the way over. Jack getting a lot of space coming across the top now, and Dolo and Les fire kills off into the kill feed. And look at how far back the combo here for Ice Mob had to go. They're all the way up on the rafters, up on second, all the way back into lobby even. And they're going to have to back out here, and they might be still in trouble. It's still Dissard. And if Jack's aware of it, they might want to run in.
Still disadvantageous, as they are going to be making their way through. Zuri on 80% now. If he manages to keep himself alive, he might be able to get this in the end, but they need to be healing. They need to be on somebody, but they're not at the moment. The Uber has already been pulled out of Jack. Jack completely left alone here, as he is just trying to get himself back out of that lower door. His scout and demo are going to be joining him on that grass area, but the Uber comes out of the blue side. Ice Mob, only 2 men left standing, but an Uber charge saves them for about 8 seconds. CR comes back up on the respawn, is going to be able to get himself out of that spawn door, but isn't going to be able to get to the point in time, as now it looks like Beansports are running away with it. As I said before, we're at 4-1, one more round potential for Beansports to take this entire thing under their belt.
Yeah, very nice work. They're coming in on that push. Like the first Uber ad push didn't go exactly to plan, but again, Zuri was a little bit too slow getting up Uber of his own, and that meant that when it was just the heavy being Uber on point, it buys you that extra few seconds We're getting a couple of spawners in, but it's not quite enough. Respawn timers on last are so long, and it's swept up by Beansports in the end, looking to seal the deal at 5-1. One round away from doing so, but they've got another round to deal with yet, and Jack and Aless going down early is not what they're looking for. Potatoes going in for yet another salvage. These have gone so well so far this game, but not going to happen this time, and Happy and Dolo low as well means this might be the first really super convincing mid-win over on the side of Ice Mob this whole series.
But to scoff at just yet, as we have been in this position time and time again where it looks like Ice Mob are managing to get themselves on their feet, but they just end up falling short some way or another. But with them having the super advantage and getting that win off the back of that mid-win, they are going to be trying to get themselves in onto last very early. They've capped up that point. Steven going to be on the sniper. Is he going to be able to find anything?
Got a weird angle
in this. Going to be looking over at that shutter from the right side, and if anyone comes in through that right door, he is going to be completely isolated. But instead, no one going to be deciding to come through it just yet. He is going to be just moving himself around to that shutter door, seeing if he can try and get a pick onto the medic, but instead gets himself caught on the point. But is he going to be able to get out onto the spawn in time? Yes, he is. The demo on the side of Ice Mob does end up falling in the air, which isn't ideal for them, as they just end up falling further and further behind. They end up not really being able to find their footing even in these uber advantage situations, and now with Jack remaining alive means he is going to be in the driving seat once again alongside the rest of his roster. Only 9% left to go before they actually make it to that uber charge, and Aralele deciding not to go in for a sack too early.
Yeah, it sort of makes sense. Get the rest of the spawners up, maybe go for a play with the sniper in forward spawn. They don't let to go for it. They elect to just sit it out for now, but yeah, Beansports, the advantage actually isn't as big as it once was. Zuri's been building pretty hard over on that side, down to only a 20% advantage, so it could be dangerous if Beansports go in.
He's coming in through lower. CR's going to be getting in to get an actual nice bomb here onto Jack. Manages to get the first rocket off, deals the second, unable to get the third, but the Uber's forced out anyway, and now we're in a position where Ice Mob might be able to win this team fight. They get the kill onto Potato very quickly. Dolo going to be trying to run away through Kitchen, and they are just trying to get the picks as they come forward. Dolo going to be falling very weak, manages to get himself out into Saw, and does manage to get himself all the way out in the end. But this is so good for Ice Mob now. They just need to chase. They need to chase harder than they are right now, because they're just losing players, feeding, sending ones into this cluster of players on second. And now Beansports, even after falling so far onto the back foot, have got themselves in a position to actually get themselves further and further into this round, and potentially even get a map win, even a series win.
Yeah, there was a moment where it was 5v3, there was low HPs over on the Beansports side where really they could have run in, they could have gone for it, and in the end they had to back all the way out, and I guess Pablo's come up from the forward spawn, hiding here up top. It's quite a visible position, kind of hard to hide it once you're up there, so Beansports will be aware of this sniper threat coming in, but it's not going to stop them from the flank coming in. Potato goes and gets 3 in from the cheese, including the med, including the sniper. That could be game winning, that could be it. 4v1, Uber advantage coming through as Dolo jumps his way in. CR tries to hold the point, but there's Uber charge on last. GG's called, and with 10 minutes to spare, Beansports take it, and they are the first finalists here of ETF2L low this season.
That is insane. Sorry, that bomb from Potato has me different, bro. Like, I am so amazed. That's incredible. Manages to get himself in to lobby some way or another, I didn't quite see, but ends up in cheese and ends up losing his life. But finding that 3k at the end completely saved everything. Managing to save the round for his team, managing to actually win out that final round does give such a big sort of warmth in my heart for the side of Beansports. And, well, now they make their way to the grand finals, whereas, well, the side of Ice Mob, well, don't really make their way to anything. They don't really make their way home or anything. They just kind of work things out, ready for LAN or even the next season, depending on what they want to do.
Yeah, their run this season is over, but for Beansports, yeah, all the way through to the final, they're going to be making their way onto the last game. As we said, Dolo, first season in low comes through. And yeah, it was shaky a couple of moments, but yeah, you've got to say, we've got.
I'm just showing off my background.
You're showing off your background? Okay, yeah.
I saw Steven make a comment in chat.
Yeah, I'll keep waffling, but yeah, you got to say like the I don't know, there's the quality playmaking coming through there from Beansports, right? Every one of them stepped up at various moments with huge plays of their own. And the Potato sort of got the shining one towards the end, but throughout the series on both maps, there was some pretty big hype moments, and yeah, they're a strong force going through into that final, which I believe might even be later on this week, given that the other semi-final is also tomorrow, I believe. So should be coming up soon.
Absolutely incredibly played by both of these teams. I think Ice Mob definitely stood a chance in some aspects of the word. There was a little bit of like hope, a few glimmers coming out of the side of Ice Mob. They definitely had the potential to really get themselves further forward in this game, but with the sort of lack of being able to maintain the team coordination, I think that was like the big sort of difference between the two teams. Obviously, as I said, on Koth, it usually falls down to a bit of a DM difference. So on the first map, more than likely, it was more DM that really played a factor in the win-loss. But when it comes down to a more 5CP aspect, it's a little bit more methodical. So I think their sort of team coordination worked out for them in the end. They did manage to bring some things together and actually be able to make some genuinely decent plays and win out some of those team fights in general, but unfortunately wasn't quite what they wanted.
Yeah, it's an exciting one coming up, and there's a lot of Beansports in the chat at the moment. They're obviously very happy with themselves, and yeah, obviously getting a default. They sort of had a week of not playing those off. He's not in the driving seat, but come back strong. And yeah, it was a dominant showing. I've got to say, 3-0 on Bagel was, yeah, it was. They were never in really any danger of losing any of those rounds. And yeah, they dropped one round on Snake, and even against full Uber in that last round, they managed to make it work and go coast to coast. So very well played for them. And there are still more playoffs going on in all of the divs. So we'll have to see what's coming up later this week. I'm definitely down for doing some more games. We obviously with the way the fixtures are working at the moment, it's like kind of hard to see anything more than a day ahead on the sites for ETF2L. But and again, also games just get moved around randomly because it just puts the default date up, and then because the default date is normally like the next day from when it's set up, that it gets a bit shaky. But do keep us informed. Come on our Discord. Let us know if there's any games that you want casting, because obviously Beansports heavily requested. We will do it if we get requests. Discord link is in the Twitch channel description. But yeah, I think we're okay to move on. You've got any last thoughts for us, Naj?
Am I allowed to give shoutouts?
Sure, go for it.
Oh, all right. I have been given the green light. So, quick little shout out to Rejects. You know who you are. I say it on every cast that I'm on. It's my little group of people. I also would like to give a quick shout out to my Twitter, which is @Naji_, which is just Naj, IE, and then an underscore at the end. And a shout out to my Twitch channel, which is just Naj. Give me a follow if you want to see any Rainbow Six content, any Teamfight Tactics content, potentially even Team Fortress 2 content, as we are in the lead up to LAN. I will be playing, I will be there. You are.
Yeah, I'm shouting out Beans. That's my shout out. Beans are great. I love beans. Right. But yeah, see you all next time for some more playoffs. We'll get some more games done. Oh, push-ups! We're just going off. Could you not have done that like between maps or something? Like, come on.
Let's go. How many do you have to do?
Are we doing it now? I have to do 10. I've been to the gym today as well. My arms are like dead. That's always my excuse as well. I use the same excuse every time. But this time it is actually true. I'm not moving my camera because the floor's a shit tip, which is again the same excuse as normal, but it's true.
Just Ben, or do I have to?
No, it's just Ben.
Oh, okay. Thank God.
We need to start setting some of these for LAN.
Oh, there's 5.
Anti-motion push-up. Don't worry, I'll do your push-ups, Auntie. It's fine. I'll get my cam ready.
Oh God.
I'll do Auntie's push-up because he's not on camera.
I'll do mine as well, but
there we go.
That's fine.
There we go. Right, I've done my 10.
I've got to clear my food shop out the way because it's all over the floor at the moment.
Yeah, that was my problem. Is my floor is just a tip. got back from being away at the weekend, and was like a load of like, bits of paper and stuff. Lots of like random notes and such. To be fair, I do have like one of my dumbbells in the room, but it's only like a little tiny thing, not particularly heavy. Oh, here we go. Go on, Naj. Here he goes.
Pushing up has been done.
Got this. Can we have like one set of push-ups without people being down bad in the chat? Ever? Can it ever happen?
No.
Remove them bin bags? What do you mean remove them bin bags? Are you talking about... Wait, no, they're not bin bags. That's just like empty bags. Empty. Okay, so they're empty bin bags, but they're thrown over my weights.
Oh, fair. But yeah, let's now the push-ups have been done. Let's actually move on. But yeah, get in Discord. Everyone who's not in the Discord, it's in the description for Twitch. Get in there. And
Run over my cable.
let's sign out.
You're all rats. Why have you done this to me?